WWE just had one of the most insane weeks of news leaks, health scares, and backstage revelations that we've seen in years, and I'm about to tell you why everything you think you know about WrestleMania season is about to change drastically. A dream match between Brock Lesnar and LA Knight has been leaked and the details are absolutely mind-blowing. John Cena was spotted struggling to walk after a recent appearance and the wrestling community is genuinely worried about his health, and The Rock is allegedly being positioned as the savior of WWE's plummeting ratings in a way that's either genius or completely desperate depending on who you ask. And here's what makes me absolutely furious: WWE is playing these situations so close to the vest that we don't know what's real, what's being exaggerated, and what's complete misinformation designed to create buzz. Before we dive into each of these explosive stories, I need to know which of these three news items concerns you the most: the Brock vs LA Knight leak, John Cena's health, or The Rock's involvement in WWE's future. Drop your answer in the comments because each of these stories has massive implications for wrestling. Let's start with the biggest bombshell: the leaked plans for Brock Lesnar vs LA Knight. According to multiple reports from insiders who've been reliable in the past, WWE has been quietly planning a match between these two for months, and it's scheduled to happen at one of the major premium live events between now and SummerSlam. But here's where it gets controversial and why fans are split right down the middle on whether this is brilliant or terrible booking. The leaked plans apparently have LA Knight winning this match. Let me repeat that: LA Knight, who's been struggling to maintain momentum over the past few months, is reportedly going over the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar in what's being described as a passing of the torch moment. And the wrestling community has erupted with opinions on both sides of this debate. Quick trivia question: how many times has Brock Lesnar lost clean on the main roster in the past 5 years? First person to get the number right gets pinned. On one hand, you have people arguing that LA Knight needs this win. He's been spinning his wheels lately, his promos are still great but his booking has been inconsistent, and beating Brock Lesnar would instantly catapult him into main event status. A win over Brock isn't just another victory, it's a statement. It says this person is being positioned as a top guy, and WWE is willing to sacrifice Brock's aura to make it happen. But on the other hand, and this is where I personally have concerns, is LA Knight the right person to beat Brock Lesnar right now? Don't get me wrong, I love LA Knight. The guy is charismatic, he can talk, he's solid in the ring. But he hasn't been booked strong enough in recent months to make a Brock Lesnar victory feel earned. If this match happens tomorrow, a significant portion of the audience is going to think, wait, this is the guy who beats Brock Lesnar, the guy who's been losing to mid-card talent for the past 2 months. Here's where you come in. Do you think LA Knight beating Brock Lesnar is the right move, or should WWE build Knight up more before pulling the trigger on this? Sound off below. What makes this leak even more interesting is how it happened. This wasn't a case of someone vaguely hinting at a possible match on Twitter. This was detailed information about the match structure, the finish, and even specific spots they are planning to do. That level of detail doesn't leak unless someone wants it to leak, which raises the question: is WWE intentionally putting this information out there to gauge fan reaction before committing to it? If that's the case, if WWE is using leaks as a focus group, that's actually pretty smart. They can see how fans react to the idea of LA Knight beating Brock, and if the reaction is overwhelmingly negative, they can pivot without ever officially announcing the match. But it also shows a lack of confidence in their own creative decisions, which is concerning for a company that's supposed to know what they're doing. The other concerning aspect of this leak is what it means for Brock Lesnar's future. Brock is 47 years old now, he's been in the business for over 2 decades, and every match could potentially be one of his last. If WWE is positioning him to put over LA Knight, does that mean Brock is winding down his career? Is this the beginning of Brock's retirement tour? And if so, is LA Knight really the person who should be getting that rub, or should it be someone younger with a higher ceiling? Who would you rather see beat Brock Lesnar, LA Knight, or someone else? Give me your dream opponent in the comments. Now let's talk about John Cena, and I want to be very careful here because we're talking about someone's health. Multiple people who were at a recent appearance have reported that John Cena was visibly struggling to walk, moving slowly, and appeared to be in significant pain. Now, John hasn't addressed this publicly, and we don't have confirmed medical information, so everything I'm about to say is speculation based on what's been reported. John Cena is 47 years old and has been wrestling at the highest level for over 20 years. His body has taken an incredible amount of punishment over that time. Multiple surgeries, countless injuries, and the wear and tear of performing at that intensity for that long, it all adds up. And if these reports about him struggling to walk are accurate, it raises serious questions about his ability to continue performing at the level WWE and fans expect. Here's what makes this situation so delicate. John Cena has announced that he's doing a retirement tour in 2025, which means he's planning to work a full schedule of matches leading up to his final WrestleMania. But if he's already struggling with mobility issues now, how is he going to handle 30+ matches over the course of a year? And more importantly, should he even try? Question for the longtime Cena fans: would you rather see John work through pain to give us a proper retirement tour, or would you prefer he retire early to protect his long-term health? This is a tough one, so be thoughtful in your answers. Look, I understand the desire to go out on your own terms. I understand wanting to give the fans one last run and create memories that will last forever. But at what cost? John Cena has already cemented his legacy as one of the greatest of all time. He has nothing left to prove. If continuing to wrestle means risking permanent injury or damaging his quality of life after wrestling, is it worth it? The wrestling business has a terrible track record when it comes to protecting performers' long-term health. We've seen too many legends push themselves beyond what their bodies could handle, and they are paying for it now with chronic pain, mobility issues, and reduced quality of life. I don't want to see that happen to John Cena. None of us do. What WWE needs to do, and I'm speaking directly to the decision makers here, is have an honest conversation with John about what his body can realistically handle. If that means reducing his schedule, working a lighter style, or even cutting the retirement tour short, so be it. John Cena's health is more important than any storyline or business decision. Now, let's get to the Rock situation, and this is where things get really interesting and potentially controversial. According to reports, The Rock is being positioned by WWE as the solution to their recent ratings decline. SmackDown and Raw have both seen viewership drops over the past few months, and apparently, WWE executives believe that bringing The Rock back in a more prominent role is the answer. Here's my problem with this strategy, and I want to be very clear: I love The Rock. He's one of the greatest performers in WWE history, he's a massive star, and whenever he shows up, it's a big deal. But using The Rock as a band-aid to cover up deeper creative problems is not a long-term solution. Trivia time: when was the last time The Rock wrestled a full match on WWE television? First correct answer gets a shout-out. WWE's ratings issues aren't because they don't have enough star power. They have an incredibly talented roster filled with people who could be major stars if they were booked properly. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, these are all main event level talents who should be drawing viewers. So why aren't they? The answer is simple: storytelling. WWE's creative has been inconsistent, storylines get dropped without explanation, feuds end abruptly, and matches happen without proper build. When you don't give fans a reason to care about what's happening, they stop watching. It's that simple. Bringing The Rock back might give you a short-term ratings boost. WrestleMania season with The Rock involved will absolutely draw more viewers than WrestleMania season without him. But what happens when The Rock leaves? Again, you're right back where you started, except now you've trained your audience to only care when a part-timer from 20 years ago shows up. Here's the question I want you to answer: is The Rock's involvement in WWE helping or hurting the development of current stars? Be honest in your assessment. What WWE should be doing is using The Rock to elevate current stars, not overshadow them. If The Rock is going to be involved, his role should be to make someone like Austin Theory or Braun Breaker or Jade Cargill look like $1 million by association. That's how you use a legend properly. You don't bring them back to be the star, you bring them back to create new stars. But that's not what's happening, is it? Based on the reports, The Rock is being positioned as the main attraction, the draw, the person who's going to save WWE's ratings. And that's frustrating because it shows that WWE doesn't have faith in the talent they've been developing for years. Think about it from a current roster member's perspective. You've been working your ass off, grinding every week, trying to become a star, and then WWE's solution to ratings problems is to bring back a guy who hasn't wrestled regularly in over a decade. How is that supposed to make you feel? How is that supposed to motivate you to keep working hard when the company clearly doesn't believe you're good enough to draw viewers on your own? Let me connect all three of these stories because I think there's a common thread here that speaks to WWE's current philosophy, and it's concerning. The Brock vs LA Knight leak shows WWE potentially using an aging star to try to make a new star. The John Cena health concerns show the potential consequences of pushing performers beyond what their bodies can handle. And the Rock situation shows WWE's tendency to rely on nostalgia and part-timers instead of building new stars properly. All three of these stories point to the same problem. WWE is stuck between two eras. They know they need to create new stars for the future, but they are afraid to fully commit to that process. So instead, they are trying to have it both ways, bringing back legends to draw viewers while also trying to build new talent. But you can't do both effectively. At some point, you have to make a choice. Either commit to your current roster and give them the time, creative freedom, and consistent booking they need to become stars, or admit that you don't believe in them and just run a nostalgia company where the only draws are people from 15 to 20 years ago. But this halfway approach where you're constantly bringing back part-timers to save your product that doesn't work long-term. Here's my challenge to everyone watching: if you were running WWE right now, what would you do to fix the ratings problem? Would you rely on legends, push current talent harder, or try a completely different approach? Give me your fantasy booking. I want to end on this note. I'm not saying any of these individual decisions are necessarily wrong. Maybe LA Knight beating Brock Lesnar will be amazing and catapult him to stardom. Maybe John Cena's health issues are being overblown and he's fine. Maybe The Rock's involvement will actually help create new stars. I hope all of those things are true, but based on WWE's track record, based on how they've handled similar situations in the past, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical that they'll follow through on LA Knight's push after he beats Brock. I'm skeptical that they'll protect John Cena's health over making money, and I'm skeptical that The Rock's involvement will be anything more than a short-term ratings band-aid. I want to be proven wrong. I want WWE to shock me by making smart, long-term decisions that prioritize their performers' health and the development of new stars over short-term gains. But until they prove they can do that consistently, I'm going to remain skeptical. If this video got you thinking about WWE's current direction and what it means for the future of wrestling, I need you to engage. Like this video if you're concerned about any of these three stories. Share it with wrestling fans who need to hear about these developments. And absolutely flood the comments with your takes on the Brock vs LA Knight match, your concerns about John Cena's health, and your thoughts on The Rock's role in WWE. This is Wrestling Zone 1, where we don't just report the news, we analyze it, we question it, and we hold WWE accountable for their decisions. These three stories might seem unrelated, but they all point to the same crossroads WWE is facing. Do they build for the future, or do they keep relying on the past? Subscribe for more deep dives into wrestling's most important stories, and let's keep demanding better from the companies we support.